Issue 20, Marrying Young. Let me tell you what it is like to be a married girl at 19. It's coming home so tired you feel nearly dead. But you don't dare sit down because you might never get up. And there are still so many things you have to do. The cooking, the washing, the ironing. But you go through the motions nonetheless because you have to. You hate your job. You ask yourself, why don't you quit? And you know why. Because there are grocery bills and medical bills and the rent to pay. And your young hubby's crummy little check won't cover them. That's why. Then you have to play with the baby. Only sometimes you don't feel like it, but you do it anyway. Because you feel guilty about being away from her all day. Then you mix the formula and change diapers. When your husband doesn't come home, you know he has decided to go out with the boys again. Or you pray it is only the boys he is with. So, finally, you eat the lousy meal by yourself and go to bed and cry your eyes out. When he does come home, you can tell he's been drinking. But you don't say a word because he hates to be told anything. So you try to sleep so you can dream about the good old days. You think about the great meals your mother used to cook and how nice your room was at home. Then you remember how she tried to talk you out of marrying so young, and how you got mad at her and called her a dried-up old woman who forgot what it was like to be in love. And you tried to push the thoughts of other boys out of your mind, but those thoughts keep coming back. Especially that certain boy who gave you your first kiss. He won the science prize at school and is going to be a doctor. You wonder how different your life would have been if you had married him instead, or if you had gone to college. You have the feeling that the husband you chose and the baby and the life you lead are all part of a bad dream. But you know it's no dream, it's for real. You cry yourself to sleep and wake up with a splitting headache in the morning.
Comprehension. 1. What is it like for her to have married so young? 2. Why does she have to keep her job? 3. Was her mother in favor of the early marriage? 4. Why didn't she follow her mom's advice? Give more than one answer based on the reading itself.
Let's talk. One, which do you think is worse, marrying too young or marrying too late? 2. What are the advantages and disadvantages of marrying young? 3. What are the advantages and disadvantages of marrying late in life? 4. What do young people think love is? 5. What do older people think about love? 6. What are some common mistakes young people make when they are in love? 7. What determines a happy marriage? Is it one thing or a combination of things? 8. What is your definition of love? 9. What is the relationship between love and marriage?
Opinion samples. 1. Love is a virulent epidemic that affects our ability to think like rational human beings. It makes us behave like giddy children or drug addicts. Our vision is affected in such a way that we cannot even see the real person we are in love with. Bad behavior on his or her part is automatically excused or rationalized away. Character faults disappear, and physical shortcomings are trivialized. The only thing that matters is how much of ourselves we are able to sacrifice on behalf of the loved one. Every word and gesture he or she makes, every attitude he or she expresses, every thought or whim becomes a sign that must be interpreted or incorporated into our world. Neither age nor station nor history nor philosophy presents an effective vaccine against the love virus. No one is immune, not even you. Question: what could be a vaccine for blind love?
2. Perhaps love is a form of worship, whether mutual or one-sided, and marriage is a manifestation of pragmatic necessity. Marriage is part of every human society, though it takes many forms and performs many functions. It defines status and identity, unites or divides property, and lays a basis for the offspring's place in the world, and thus perpetuates or interrupts a family line. It establishes a factory where all manner of work is accomplished: sex, companionship, parenthood, affection, wardrobe maintenance, physical sustenance. Love may or may not be integral to marriage. Many loveless marriages have been eminently successful, just as many love matches have proved disastrous. Some married couples have learned to love each other over time. Some have lost their early affection for each other. Some have become indifferent or hateful toward their partner. The popular idea still associates love with marriage, but in actual fact, perhaps the two institutions have little to do with each other in most cases. Question: which do you think would be better, a loveless marriage with money or a love marriage with no money? Issue 20. Marrying Young.
Remember when you were a teenager in love?
Do I? As though it were yesterday.
Everything was so intense then,
I'll say, I thought love was the greatest thing since ice cream.
isn't it?
It's even better than ice cream, but I didn't know what real love was.
Yes, I had a real naive idea. I thought if a girl was cute and smiled at me, it must be love.
I was so shy that I didn't know if guys smiled at me or not.
I'll bet all the little boys were in love with you.
Hey, they weren't so little. We're talking about teenage romance, not kindergarten.
You're right, but I'm sure it didn't matter. Kindergarten, high school, college, I know you were always a cutie.
Why, thank you. Don't flatter me so much.
No, I mean it.
I used to think that love was a boy and a girl looking at each other and blushing.
What? No kissing?
Not when I was a girl.
No holding hands?
Well, maybe holding hands, a little.
Falling in love was so easy then.
It sure was. One time after another, I'd be sure that I was madly in love with someone, and then there'd be someone else that I loved even more.
So what happened to these sweet dreams?
I guess we grew up and found out what real love really is.
And what is it, really?
You should know. You're married.
Do you think love is just working all day, paying the bills, hardly seeing each other, and then getting into a fight when you do?
Heavens, no. Love is learning to share your life with someone, raising a family, growing old together. Love is going through life and not being able to imagine not doing it with the one you love.
I guess your experience with love is a lot happier than mine.
I'm sorry to hear that.
The old teenage version was better, I think.
I don't think so. It was just a nice fantasy that didn't have anything to do with the world we live in.
But it sure was a world I'd love to live in again, all the same.
Questions. 1. How many definitions of love do you find? 2. How are their experiences with love different? 3. Which one is happier? How can you tell?